Hello, everybody. I hope that you are well. Gosh, it's been a few weeks since I uploaded a new video, and I was doing so well, recording one or two every week. But I've needed time away, and I do this every now and then where I just won't put any pressure on myself, and I know that I just need to step away because I need to integrate or maybe even learn a whole bunch of new stuff. And as is normal with me, when I'm learning something, I tend to go super deep. So I'm busy reading and I'm busy kind of journaling and I'm busy thinking and I'm busy working and I'm just busy, busy, busy. And then at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, gosh, I'm really looking forward and I'm really excited to kind of feel really inspired to come back into my community and to share. And today is a Sunday here in the UK. So I'm sitting here and I was writing a Substack post, which is going live this evening. And I thought, you know what? I really want to do a video. So I'm here today and I'm creating this video. And hopefully I will be back into my normal cadence of being able to do this weekly because I have missed it so much. Unlike my husband, who is a bit of a hermit and has his line 2 profile, I have a line 4. So whilst I need that quiet time away, I also really, really need my community. I love people. I love being surrounded by people. I love the conversations and I love engagement. So what's been going on the last couple of weeks, and actually today isn't really going to be about human design. It's going to be more about business and the spirit of business. And I've been thinking a lot about how it feels when we are creating something, whether it's for ourselves, whether it's for our family, whether it's for our businesses, and what that feels like when we are in flow, right? So in flow is normally when we just feel like a ton of inspiration, things are just pouring out of us. And I often get this when I am writing. Some people will get it when they're drawing, others may get it when they're crafting. You know, you may get it when you're speaking. It will flow through you depending on the gifts that you have within you. And I always think that, gosh, wouldn't it be lovely to just be in that state of flow? But of course, life isn't like that, right? Life is rhythmic, that's the word. And so things have a tendency to go up and down. And we need life to do that because we need contrast. We need the darkness so that we can shine and just love and adore the light. We need colder days so that we can, bask in the sunshine and appreciate what that means. We like the stars as well. So like stars at night, will show us that there's something magical maybe beyond what we can see versus maybe, the clouds during the day, right? There is a contrast in pretty much everything around us. You'll meet people that will fill you up and will help, encourage you and you'll just thrive and you'll just really connect with them. And then you'll meet people that maybe that connection isn't so strong with. And what that does is that tends to kind of make you really appreciate and feel grateful for the lovely people that you do meet in your life and the friendships that you do have, because it kind of helps you to sift and sort through life, right? And so on that premise, I've been thinking a lot about my journey. And I'll be honest, a few weeks ago, somebody asked me what I did. And it threw me because I've always had this huge, big tool bag filled with so much stuff. And I'm normally the person that everyone will come to if they've got questions about their businesses or they just want to feel really motivated. Marketing tends to be one of my areas. But normally it always falls within the realms of business, whether that's managing teams, whether that's helping companies, whether that's building my own thing, and I've sort of stepped away from feeling uncomfortable about always having different projects on the go or what I'm up to and what I'm trying, because I love to try things. I love to explore because I never know what's going to stick and what isn't. And not because I'm not committed to it, but because sometimes things will pop up to teach you in that moment what it needs to, and it will then move on. And I feel like with business, we put so much pressure on it to perform for us. We treat it a bit like a performing monkey, and it isn't, right? Every day, especially on, I think, threads at the moment, I'm seeing so many conversations where people are really upset about Instagram. They're really focused on the algorithm. They're really complaining about it. They're feeling that it's really affecting their businesses and their marketing. And we live in this amazing magical world, right? And as a marketer, as somebody who has that as part of my toolkit, I know that there are 100 different ways that you can market your business. And just because something might not be working on one platform, it doesn't mean it's the be all and end all of your business, right? It doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to market or get your business to where you want, want it to go to, right? Where you aspire to reach, with, the levels you want to reach with your business. And so it's really interesting to me to kind of watch how we kind of pin all our hopes onto one thing. And yes, of course, like many years ago, I built a massive Facebook community, which is still there. It had 300 and I think nearly 400,000 people actually in that community, and it reached millions and millions of people a week. And I invested £250,000 in ads for that. And when that business fully cycled, that community changed, that platform changed, right? And, I didn't look back and think, gosh, that was such a waste. Oh, it's because Facebook, they just like didn't do very well, the algorithm, and it's all gone to pot, and, it doesn't work anymore, and blah, blah, blah. It was just like, no, it helped me at that part of my journey with that part of my business. And then when it needed to cycle and move on, we did just that. We cycled and we moved on, right? We're really lucky to be in a time where we have lots and lots of different opportunities around us and lots of different avenues to try. Not everything has to be, dependent on TikTok, dependent on Instagram, dependent on Threads, etc. There are multiple ways to do something, right? And you will find the way that resonates with you. But I think what we do is we don't explore it like an adventurer, right? We don't kind of go, well, let's try this and give it 6 to 9 months and see what happens. It's like, we're going to give this out all and it must perform for me, right? And then when it doesn't perform, I must be doing something wrong, or it must be doing something wrong. Like, we don't look at it with kind of this adventurer mindset and just explore and kind of go, well, I've tried it for this length of time and this is what I've seen. These are the patterns. This is the experience I've had. This is the success I've had. These are the areas that I need to improve on. And maybe I could continue to do that, or maybe I could go here and try something else, right? Business is a growth journey, and I think we forget that. And also the other wonderful thing about business, which I'm realizing more and more, is what an important part of our human experience it is. It is such an integral part of our life journey. And for those of us who choose to go on the entrepreneurial path, for those of us who kind of choose to kind of tread that particular path, right? It's not going to be, always the unicorn story. And why does it need to be? Why does it need to be a unicorn story, right? Why does it need to be a multi-million-pound journey? Why do we need to put that pressure on ourselves right at the beginning and then almost stop ourselves from doing the absolute best that we possibly can because we've already laden it with like these really, really tough and high expectations? Business is a beautiful gift, right? And if you have it within you to be able to build and create a business, amazing. Like, you are opening up an unbelievable opportunity and you are seeing a part of the world that maybe isn't always visible to everybody, because not everybody wants to have their own business. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They may want to follow a different path, and that's perfectly fine for them. But if you are an entrepreneur, the one thing I'm seeing over and over again, and I've done this for many years, now I'm a lot better at it because I've done the work, but we beat ourselves up when sometimes things don't always go the way that we want it to go. And instead of creating distance between us and the thing that's happening and actually taking a moment to just step aside and go, right, well, what's this showing me? Let's just get back to basics. What's the practical things that this is telling me, right? What has worked? What hasn't worked? What's changed? What can I do to improve? Is this telling me that I need to pivot? Is this telling me that I can evolve? Is this telling me to carry on and do more of this? Like, what's it telling me? Your business is always conversing with you. It's always trying to talk to you because it is in partnership with you. Because your business relies on your energy, it relies on your love, it relies on your thoughts and your inspiration and everything that you can possibly pour into it. It's not this thing over here that must do all of this stuff and must make lots of money and must give you all this freedom and must help, support your family and must do all these things, right? If you put all of that on a person, that person will turn around and literally go, I don't think so. Thanks very much, but I'll be seeing you. Right? So why do we put it on our business? And the other interesting thing is that our business is an extension of us. it's actually part of our personality, part of our being. It's part of the journey that we are here to experience. And so if we're putting all that pressure on our business, then by extension, we're also putting all that pressure on ourselves. And the funny thing is that pressure's coming from us. So we're kind of doing this, going round and round in circles. When really we just need to be thinking, well, okay, I have this amazing vehicle. I have this gift and it's a beautiful business, and it can grow with me, and it's going to have challenges. I fully know that, because there isn't a business on planet Earth probably that has ever had the smoothest of journeys. Even when you're in perfect flow and you're in perfect harmony with the universe, you're still going to have moments of highs and lows with that business, because it is designed to challenge you. It's designed to pull out your gifts. It's designed to kind of elevate you. It's designed to help you up level, right? That's exactly what your business is here to do. It's such an integral part of your journey. And, it was funny because I was listening to somebody the other day and they were talking about the spirit of their business. And it was Colette Baron Reid, actually. She's an intuitive and she does lots of oracle readings and things like, if you haven't seen her, she's wonderful. She's been doing it for over 30 years. And she was talking a lot about the spirit of a business. And I thought, gosh, I can relate and resonate with that so much. You don't have to be woo-woo to understand that, right? That a business has a soul, a business has a spirit, right? That you're always working in partnership, say with the universe, for example, through the vehicle of a business. The business doesn't know what you want to achieve. The business doesn't know how much money you want to make. The business doesn't know how many people you want to impact. You drive that, much like you drive a car. You tell it where you want it to go. But we are so busy putting self-doubt in the way and putting boulders on our path and making sure we jump the biggest hurdles, because we've actually stacked up all of this pressure, rather than just kind of setting the intention and going, right, this is what I'd like to achieve, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to help clear the path so that my business can go on and actually thrive and bring my aspirations into fruition in partnership with me, right? It's not this thing that we boss about. It's in partnership with us, because it is an extension of who we are. And that's why, like with solopreneurs and people who, run their own businesses and things, the most magnetic businesses are normally a beautiful extension of the business owner's personality and their beliefs and their values, right? And that's why we talk about things like, when you create a business, just make sure that its foundation is solid in terms of your values, right? That you're always acting, from a state of integrity, that you're always acting from a state of kindness and love, that you've always got the best intentions of the people that you are trying to kind of impact with your business, whether it's product or service, right? That you're doing it from a place of goodness and kindness, right? They're solid foundations and principles that you build your business on. And I think more and more we're starting to learn that actually we can create a conscious business. We can create a business that's actually fueled by goodness, because we're starting to realize that we have that goodness inside of us, and we empower that goodness, right? That's what we put out into the world. But if we add lots of pressure, like, for example, I'm on maternity leave and I don't want to go back to work, and it really has to kind of perform for me, and I needed to make this much money, and it's got to sell this much, and oh my God, Instagram's gone and crashed on me, and I can't believe the Facebook was down, and Threads isn't doing what I want it to do. Like, does always sound familiar. And then suddenly it's like, what's this poor business going to do under the weight of all of that? Well, any human being would probably just break. So your business is going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm really spent the last few weeks kind of really integrating and really thinking a lot about my business journey, and thinking about kind of what I want for the future, and how I really, really want to align more with the consciousness of my business. And it's really funny because many, many years ago, back in 2012, I created a teepee pattern. I actually came to the Isle of Wight. I didn't live here at the time. And I remember thinking at the time that I really, really wanted to build a business, something that I would love, a brand I would love, a business I would love. I knew I had it in me. I had not long had Alice. Alice was 2 years old at that time. And I was like, I really, really want this for myself. And I went to the Isle of Wight and a book fell across me, and it was a book of crafts, and I love making. You may even see some bits over here on my other desk where you can see I've been punch needling and doing stuff. I do this because it's for me, it's a really nice way of just kind of being creative, and I get to think a lot when I'm doing it, and I just love it. So, and I like to explore and do different things. And I hadn't, I saw this book and it was filled always with these projects. And inside it was a beautiful big teepee. Now I hadn't sewn since I was at school. So I hadn't sewn for 20 odd years. I did not own a sewing machine, but something in me had me buy this book. And I've always been very instinctive. I've always trusted my instincts. So I followed that path. I followed that breadcrumb and I bought that book, right? That book I bought in must have been about May or June. And then I spent the next sort of, 2 to 3 months making this teepee. I went through meters and meters of fabric. I hand sewed it. I bought a sewing machine, which my husband then found in the garden because I couldn't get it to work and I was so cross with it. And he came back from a Pearl Jam concert and kind of went, "What's it doing out here, Effie?" And brought it back in. And then we're sitting there watching YouTube videos, trying to work out how to remember to sew on a sewing machine. And it was a really interesting journey, right? And then eventually, after several tries and evenings of sewing on top of my normal job, I created this teepee for Alice, which she then had for her birthday in early September. And I remember trying to show it to a few people, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was on Twitter at the time because I had a bit of a fertility community because Alice was an IVF baby. So I was kind of in that world. And I was showing a few people, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's all right." And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm really proud of it. Yeah, Alice is having much fun in it." It didn't have a floor mat or anything at that point. It was just this cream calico teepee with like a little window, and it had a little window box, and I'd really badly hand sewn these flowers on it, and it was fun. And then I remember waking up on October the 12th, 2012, and I bolted up out of bed, flicked up my laptop, because at that point my laptop was always on the floor. And I had launched a Facebook page a couple of weeks before, and it had like a couple of hundred followers, friends, family, their friends and family. It was all, quite sweet. And it was in the early days of Facebook. And so basically, I then had this urge to do a competition. So I took this really badly taken photo of Alice's teepee that was in her playroom, and I posted it, and I just did a giveaway, right? I hadn't made any other teepee before, like other than this for Alice. And within a few hours, that Facebook page grew to 1,000. Within the week, it was at 10,000. Within the month, it was at 30,000 followers. I took inspired action. The universe nudged me and I followed that breadcrumb, right? I had no idea what was then going to happen as part of my journey, but I knew that something had nudged me. So I followed it. And it's not until years later that now I reflect back on that, I realized that actually I was building alignment with my business. I was in partnership with the universe to create something very special and very magical. And, it's really funny because when I look back in those years, I have mixed feelings. There are times when that journey was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I saw the worst and the best of humanity, and I experienced some really amazing things like Dragon's Den in 2014, taking that business to multi-millions of pounds. We raised thousands of pounds for Right to Play as a charity. We created these like wooden hidey holes. It was the epiphany for me, like epitome of like creativity for me. And everyone who knew me at that time was like, "This is perfect for you. This is completely you." And it was true. It was an extension of me and my brand. But along that journey, I was also developing as a person, right? I was a young mum. I had been in the corporate world for 15 to 18 years. I was trying to figure out how to actually build something on my own. And even though I had dabbled, right? I mean, I had a doggy business beforehand, and I designed harnesses for like with the Mr. Men license. So they had like little Miss Happy and Mr. Happy and Little Miss Naughty and all of that. And we did all of that. And I was on QVC, and we stocked pets at home. But it never scaled or grew as quickly as the way this particular business did, right, with the teepees. And it was a really interesting one. And now I reflect back, I realized that actually it was such a wonderful growth journey. And the person I came out at the end was really kind of conflicted, really I was jarred, right? The whole experience had jarred me. And it took me a few years before I could really integrate everything I had learned and understand it and know that this was actually a really powerful part of my growth journey. And there is no way I could have learned those experiences and gained that knowledge and learn how to build a multi-million pound business without in any other way, right? It was almost like that journey was perfectly designed for me. But at the time, I was like, borderline depression. I was under so much pressure to perform. I had so many people watching and criticizing me because I took something that was really quite young and I put it in front of 12 million people, right? And the problem is when you do that, perception and expectation rises of that business, and they think that you're the size of a multi-billion corporation rather than still this small business that's trying to kind of paddling furiously underneath the surface, trying to work out how it can thrive. And it was a really big lesson. And it has taken all these years. And that business cycled in 2017. And, it's all these years later. And I still reflect back on it. But it's funny because if I mention it to my husband will be like, you forget how hard it was. You forget the hours we worked. You forget, and that's what he remembers. He remembers that we worked really hard. He remembers that we were, we almost missed Christmas a couple of years with our daughter, and like it just took everything from us, right, in terms of commitment and what it asked of us. But I think it also gave us a hell of a lot in return, and we did so much good with it. And it's not that now I look back and it's a bit like, when you have a baby after labor, you kind of like, at the time, it's like, I'm never doing that again. And then so many months will pass and you're like, well, maybe I could do it again. Like, it's not like the pain has lessened, because the pain hasn't lessened, but it's about taking that pain and actually turning it into purpose. It's about turning it into something that's more powerful, right? And it's being able to sit here now and be able to share this story with you and know that actually I was in perfect flow with the universe. Everything, and I could talk about this for a long time, but everything that happened was done in perfect timing for that business and for me. And it taught me such amazing and deep and even hard lessons, right? But I think, and then in the end, when it dropped me off and said, right, we're done, I may have looked like a shadow of my former self, but the person sitting in front of you today is a lot wiser, a lot more knowledgeable. I've gone on to use that experience in so many different ways, and I've thrived, right? And I think it is about perspective. It's about understanding that your business isn't here to harm you. It's not trying to do something to you, right? Your business, it wants to help you. It wants to use your gifts. It wants to use your talents, the best of your ability that you can express your talents, right? Through. It wants to give you a vehicle to be able to use your voice. It wants to give you this amazing opportunity to grow. And I think we spend so much time beating ourselves up that we don't create that distance between us and the experience to actually go, well, what's it teaching me? Because we're fraught with emotion, right? We're feeling really down on ourselves. Maybe we've got pressure financially around us and things like that. And all these things are threatening to kind of swallow us up and then take away that perspective. And you may not get that perspective until later when it's passed, because it will always pass. That's the thing, it will always pass, right? You may not always get the result that you think you wanted, but you'll always get the result that was best for you. You'll always get the result that was intended for you. And sometimes businesses will cycle because you have taken and squeezed out every single drop of juice out of the journey that you were meant to squeeze out of it. And now you're meant to put it down and then do something else. And that's absolutely fine as well. And, it's really interesting because there are so many people out there who are wonderful coaches who will teach you about how to reframe failure, who will teach you about positive mindset and to have a growth mindset, who'll teach you things like human design so you can understand your personality and the innate gifts that you hold. But all of that is just designed to kind of help you feel good about you, right? To actually give you a solid foundation. But you'll only ever know that by taking quiet time and doing the inner work and really trying to be honest with yourself. And also trying to make sure that you raise your awareness of everything around you so that you understand that life is constantly trying to teach you. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's going to be teaching you through the vehicle of business. So I really felt like I wanted to share this with you all today. I'm kind of feeling quite inspired at the moment, and I love this whole concept of spirit of business. I really, really am loving this idea of kind of like messages from the business universe, right? Because, you know, I love business so much. And I love it so much, and I want to be really good at it, right? And I think I'm fairly decent at it, but I want to be really good at it. And I don't want to be just really good at it for me, but I want to be really good at it so I can help. And whoever, you know, whoever kind of stumbles across my channel or stumbles across my work, you know, and what that becomes or looks like in the future, I don't know. I'm literally just following breadcrumbs at the moment. So I hope that for you. I hope many breadcrumbs for you, right? And I hope that you have the courage to follow those breadcrumbs and see where they lead you. You know, picking up a book on the Isle of Wight all those years ago and creating a teepee on my living room floor, a pattern, literally create the pattern on my living room floor, built a multi-million-pound company, right? And yes, that company cycled, and yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff around it, but you know, that's what following those breadcrumbs did for me. And I had no way of knowing that at the time. I literally just followed my inspiration and my creativity. Hey, I fancy doing this for Alice. Let's just go do it. Right. And it wasn't easy, because I've already said about the sewing machine being outside in the garden. That didn't just happen. There was a lot of Greek crossness behind that. But, you know, and it taught us so much. And I am so grateful for that experience. And now I'm just really, really, really excited. And I'm ready and I'm open to kind of receiving the next part of my journey. And I think, you know, how lucky am I that I get to do it through the vehicle of business? How lucky are you that you get to actually show up in the world and be able to express yourself through your business? That's amazing. So thank you so much for watching my video. As always, if anything resonates, please let me know and comment below. And I will speak to you all very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.